Hey, welcome back. I'm Dana Humphrey from the NYC Retails and Sales Pet Expo, and we are back with Blake Jackson from Rogue Pet Science. Welcome to the live, Blake.
Hey Dana, how are you? Thanks for having
Good,
us.
good. So I know you have a lot of cool new things that you're going to be releasing, but first of all, let's learn a little bit about you. What got you into the pet industry to begin with?
So my business partner and I actually met down in Galveston, Texas, about 16 years ago, and we became friends. And so he was actually competing in strongman at the time, and I was, kind of going on to the road to become a bodybuilder. And so we kind of just started training together. So it was our own fitness journey, but it was coincidental that we started training together, and it turned out we had both adopted dogs at the time. So we had both taken in dogs off the street down in Galveston, Texas. They kind of just run loose out there. And we had both taken in pit bulls. And so we actually started training our dogs together as well. And so we kind of went into the whole process of training ourselves, training our dogs. Then we started doing, some fostering and rehoming. And through that whole journey, we kind of got onto the same nutritional journey for our dogs that we were on for ourselves. So we started looking at the opportunities to improve, coat quality and things that we could do like that. So we were added different oils to the dog's food and, tried different diets and, raw diets and, just the same thing we were doing for ourselves. We immediately started wanting to do for our dogs. So,
Wow, that's so interesting. That's such a cool story. So you mentioned that it's your business partners. Is it that was your business partner from Rogue Pet Science?
yeah, it's my current business partner, Nate. He's actually the scientist behind our products. And so I was not in Galveston to be a scientist. He actually was there working on vaccine development at that time. And then he left for grad school, and I stayed for a little while longer. And he ended up getting into the animal feed additive world. So he started getting into how we feed production animals and how we care for production animals, and specifically looking at herd immunity strategies and developing diagnostic testing for them, as well as how to improve their diets and all the practices that were being applied there. Kind of illuminated the real challenges that we knew we were seeing with how we were feeding our dogs for him. So he immediately set out applying all that private research on how to take care of production animal and applying it into a system for a dog, and that became our very first product. So,
and when was that?
It took him a few years to find it and to find the right ratios and really hone it for a carnivore model, because it's not as simple as just taking something that you would feed to a cow and then giving it to a dog and it's going to work. It's a very common mistake that people make. Oh, it works in humans, so give it to a dog, or it works this way. That's not the way it works. So he takes a very broad approach when looking at things, and really looks at it from the specifics of the animal and what's appropriate for the animal when he's formulating and developing stuff. So it was clear that there was an opportunity with the gut health portion, which is, using probiotics, prebiotics, different fatty acids to improve the animal's health. But what the real challenge is actually the fact that we feed them a mono diet and how processed it is. So there became a bigger need to add in some sort of nutritional component to start shifting the overall system in a more favorable direction for diverse, microbiome, and actually be able to have those things have the impact that we were really wanting to see. And once it got right, it was big changes happening quick for dogs. So,
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, that seems like where the industry's headed, is really looking at the gut health and making sure your pet is fully supported in that way. So I know you have a few different products. What would you say is your top selling product?
well, we built our entire following and reputation on one product, and until pretty much this year, it was the only product we had, and that's our Origins 5-in-1 supplement. And it truly is the first of its own, like it's a first of its type, where we're combining a whole food topper using whole wild fish that's sourced here in the U.S. by us directly, along with the whole gut health system that, again, Nate developed specifically for a carnivore model. So this is good for cats and dogs. We just have really focused on dogs because cats can be a little bit pickier. But it has probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, and it has a very specific fatty acid that is normally made by microbes in the gut when everything's going absolutely correct. And so we're the only product that actually has that unique fatty acid in our product. And we're the only one looking at it as a whole system and how we can actually impact and make changes as a system. So, yeah, whole food nutrition with gut health is really the only way to do it. So we're the first to do that food topper with it. I mean, early on, I kind of struggled with that because we have to call ourselves a supplement because we're not like a complete dog food. So it's like, okay, this topper thing's catching on. I'm seeing that people are doing all this freeze dried and stuff like that. So the concept of topper, and then the fact that we're using whole food and things that I actually would take myself as supplements, probiotics and things like that. It started to really be like, okay, this is the right way to go about making a product to solve it for a lot more people. So we love raw. We've done raw diets for our own dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've used different things to boost their nutrition, as I mentioned earlier, but part of the challenge is being consistent with it, and then cost, and then, accessibility becomes a challenge, and travel becomes a challenge. And so this product, we really wanted to make it so that it was affordable for every single person to implement something that was going to have meaningful impacts for their animal's health. And, we're the only company that's actually taken the time to not only put that together and formulate that way, but we've actually done a biomarker study looking at how we impact the health of a dog in 30 days. And all the improvements that we see anecdotally, we can actually back up with what's changed in their blood at a biomarker level. So,
wow. I have goosebumps. That's pretty amazing. I'm not sure of any other companies that are doing that.
Is now selling it, so we're getting a lot more pet parents on board as well. But it's $50 for a 5-pound bag. That lasts an average size dog, like a 30 to 60-pound dog, about 80 days.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, so it's very, very affordable. And you're not just providing like one aspect. You're getting protein. You're getting a whole wild fish, literally the entire fish, just air dried and ground down. So wild fish oil, all the omegas, all the fatty acids present, plus protein. And the digestibility on our fish is equal to raw or freeze dried. So when you really start penciling out like the per serving cost of our product compared to trying to do this on your own, we're probably saving you $200 a month of trying to recreate what we're doing.
Wow. I know you mentioned you have some weight gainer foods coming out. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So the product that we've actually just started launching, it's called Healthy Weight, and this is a bag for it. But so this is an interesting product for us to do. Essentially, there's a lot of dogs that do struggle with being overweight, and we're well aware of that. And this is not necessarily only about adding weight to a dog, but it can be nutritional diversity. So you can use it to reduce some of what you're feeding in favor of something more diverse and more digestible, just like you would with raw or freeze dried. So owners can choose to use it to just maintain healthy weight, or they can use it to actually add weight to a dog that is maybe in a situation where they need more calories. So a lot of hunting dogs, sporting dogs, at different periods, they require a lot more calories. And up to this point, the industry's been offering, very, very cheap calorie options as weight gainers. So, I don't know if I should name them or not, but they're essentially just oils with sugar added to them. And it's really no different than dumping a bottle of, half a soda on your dog's food. When you look at the amount of sugar in it, it'd be the same as like pouring a Coke on your dog's food. And again, we are known in some of those circles. And so we constantly are, coming up against this product of like, I can get this for this cheap. And it's like, yeah, well, it's not good for your dog. There's like so many problems with that product and what it's doing to your dog's health. And so we finally said, you know what, we're kind of fighting the system here. And I've been in pet stores and listened to pet stores try to talk through this topic as well. So it was like, let's create a weight gainer that we would actually be willing to feed to our dogs. And that I believe independent pet stores, who I believe are the highest bar for helping educate consumers, they do the best job of educating consumers and veering them away from these kind of lackluster products. They don't have to like try to suggest an entire diet change. Like what's something we can create that would make their life easy, as far as they have a dog person come in that needs to add weight or do something like that. And they don't have to breach the whole topic of changing their diet and going into raw and doing all these different things. Like, hey, here's a product I can totally get behind giving a dog. And so it's literally whole egg, dried whole egg. That's the main source of the fat calories. And then it's malted barley, sweet potato, and carrot fiber. And so it's literally a whole food topper, providing those additional calories. And Origins would have done that. Yeah. And Origins would have done that for most dogs. The difference is, coming from a nutritional background, fish oil that you find in white fish and protein from whitefish, it'll add lean muscle, and it won't add the type of cover for a dog that is like very underweight is that you need to put on them. And so they do need to find a better fat source. And so the egg is really, it's a perfect fat source for doing that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, as we're going into winter or for foster families, right, that maybe have multiple dogs, maybe they're doing, whatever kind of bag of kibble for everybody. And then maybe they could add this to one particular dog that has been emaciated or has whatever kind of problems that needs to get that weight back on.
Yep, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to use it. We really see it as a tool like that where you could definitely use it all the time for that added nutrition from eggs, which is great for a dog. But we definitely see it as more of a tool that people are using at certain times when they're trying to either maintain or they need to do something quick to change a body condition. We actually partner with many rescues. We have a rescue resource group program. And so Origins, again, will solve most dogs' issues, but even Nate and I in the past have had dogs that no matter how much you fed them, they just would not get that layer of fat. And anytime you take them out in public, people think your dog is like starving, and you're like, guys, I can't feed this dog anymore. Like, and so this product will solve that for those people that are in that situation as well.
Very cool. And what about the fermented ideas that you have coming up?
Yeah, so it's a really exciting project. It's been a while in the works. We've actually partnered with a human organic facility, and Nate is helping them develop out their fermented ingredient line. So the very first, kind of product that we put out that contains some of those components was the Pumpkin Pro product. And so this is an organic U.S. sourced pumpkin, but it does contain the fermented ginger and fermented turmeric. And those aspects are really there for a very, very specific reason of reaching the intestinal lining that's in distress. And so, again, this is a tool product. You can absolutely use pumpkin as a nutritional topper if you know why you're using it. We don't recommend to use pumpkin all the time to maintain a healthy stool. You need to fix what's actually going on there. But there are dogs that definitely have predictable problems. And again, so if you're boarding your dog, if you're traveling with your dog, if you're competing your dog, there's different situations where dogs get GI upset. And with this product, you can actually start it knowing that's going to be coming, avoid the issue the entire time. And then when you're back home, you can just go back off of it again. So it's not something that has to be used all the time. It absolutely can. I give it to my dogs every day. But it's a great tool for those stress situations where you're dealing with that problem. So the other products, we're going to actually isolate just the fermented turmeric and the fermented ginger from this product, and we'll be putting out that product here at the end of this month. So we're calling it Fermented Turmeric Plus.
Okay.
And then we have early next year, we'll be releasing one of the first fermented greens plus products. So that's a really exciting one because we again worked very closely with them on selecting what's in there. We always try to kind of focus on the species level, like what would the animal would be eating even. So it's going to be very, very appropriate ingredient sources for a dog through that process. So we're almost thinking of it as prey model veggies for dogs is what we want to call it or something.
And what's the shelf life on these type of products?
So all of our products are powders, and they're stabilized, and they're all minimally processed and air dried, and they're also all coming from organic facilities. Some of them even from human organic facilities. So they have 2-year shelf life is what we have published on all of them.
Awesome. And for the independent retailers out there that are watching, do you have any show specials for us today or in the near future?
Yeah, I actually wanted to share a link out to the group that it's an ordering form link. You can absolutely place an order through there. It looks like you all have been doing a good job sharing that. You also can share my email. I'm happy to answer any questions and even send samples of our product to retailers. But the thing we wanted to offer today is through that link, we'll automatically apply 25% off of your initial order. So you can order whatever you'd like. We've always done for our retailers that if they just order $200 worth of products, we don't try to set like crazy case sizes because we're aware that we're kind of generally pet stores have a supplement aisle and it's a very limited real estate space in the store. And so maybe they can fit 4 bags of 2 pounds and 4 bags of 5 pounds, but I'm not trying to saddle them down with 8 or 10 bags to get started. So $200 has been very easy for people to meet, and then we offer free shipping at that point. So we maintain all of their margin for them.
Beautiful. And then there's the 25% off right now.
Yeah, there's 25% off on their first order with that order form. Also for our existing customers, anyone that uses the form that sees this today will get 25% off.
Fabulous. That's awesome. We'll definitely make sure people see that link.
Can I share one other product that we actually launched during this time?
Yeah.
So
please.
We actually have the KC strips treats, and so these are really cool. So this is human grade, soft meat, like break apart jerky treats, and so these are on the sheet, and we actually partnered with a company called out of Kansas City, and ended up absorbing his company and bringing it under Rogue, because we've known Bill for a couple of years, and the supply chain changes and everything going on early on in COVID kind of shut down his sales route, which was one that we were on as well, which was going to dog shows and doing that stuff. That's where we met him, and so just an amazing guy, amazing story. So he's using a USDA facility in Kansas. All of the meats, all the proteins in these bars are sourced from U.S. meat sources that are all human grade. They're not using leftover byproducts. So like for the beef one, it's a USDA hamburger meat. For the tilapia, it's actually the company that was supplying farm-raised U.S. tilapia for Whole Foods. So this is not like leftover bits and pieces. These are the highest quality treats, and you can actually, they're drier than a normal jerky, so they're not like maybe your first choice, but you could actually eat them in their human grade. So it's he did everything down to going to those farms and meeting those producers the exact way that we would go after any product that we're developing. And so it was a perfect match to help him kind of reach more people and team up.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful. It looks like you have, is it 3 flavors, chicken, beef, and fish?
Yeah, we're offering the chicken, beef, and fish to the stores. We do actually have some exotic flavors that may be available at different times of year. So we actually have a venison, an elk, and a buffalo. And those are available, not on that sheet just because of that thing. We might manage that just a little different, like send out announcements that we have batches of those ready, because those were more impacted during the initial of COVID. Right now, everything's working great again, thankfully. So all production's up and running.
Great. And those are all made in the USA?
Yeah, in the Flint Hills of Kansas. So
cool. That's great. I know that's an important factor to look out for when you're looking at your meats. And it sounds like you are thriving here at the end of COVID. Is there any nuggets of wisdom that you've accumulated during this time that your pets have taught you, or that you've just learned from your life or from your business that you'd like to share?
Yeah, it's definitely pushed us to do things that we're not necessarily comfortable with, or that we always kind of wanted to put off on the back burner some, because it's a little more outside of the things that we absolutely love, but they absolutely need to get done. So, taking the opportunity to take care of producing content and doing all the things, like we've done a lot of writing during this period, both Nate and I, to put out better information for all of our customers as well as our stores. So we've really built up our nutritional article section on our website, and started figuring out how to work remotely like everybody else. So doing a lot more of these lives and a lot more videos with people and for training stores. So that's another great point for our retailers. We're happy to offer, video trainings on all our products. We're also happy to provide free 2-pound bags. So through that order form, we ask how many staff you have. We want every staff to try our products. So we send free bags with our orders for all the staff to try. And we also have a no BS guarantee, as we say, for both customers and for stores. So if you can't sell our products, we'll buy it back. Like if a customer's not happy, give them their money back and we'll replace the bag for you. It's so rare that it's, we feel like, it's the thing that everyone should do. And there's a lot of lackluster nonsense products out there that have really tainted the space. Mm-hmm. And so we don't want anyone feeling like there's a risk in trying something this important for dogs, especially the Origins products. So we want to get that to as many dogs as we can, so we know we're actually improving the health of dogs.
That's an amazing guarantee that is a foolproof way to get going on adding these to your stores. I was just wondering, you mentioned you circle a lot in the dog show circuit. How has that been impacted by COVID this year?
Yeah, so that shut down a lot of our travel. The way that we really built our brand was we're not marketers. That's not our background. I was a business development guy, but I had someone else that helped me do all the cool packaging and copyright and all that stuff on my previous ventures. And so I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not afraid to go out and knock on doors. And if I have a great product, I'll do that until it works, until we get where we're going. And so we teamed up with the dog show circuit because there was definitely a higher affinity for raw feeding and supplement usage there. And they were looking for performance games, which we definitely were seeing in a lot of the kennels we were working with of hunting dogs. We could actually see older dogs performing better, wanting to work longer. And so natural fit, we started going to those shows and it rang true and they started buying. We built a big following of direct sales and we really went to different shows around the country and then visited stores in those markets while we were at the show. So the travel for the show was a way that we were able to help fund our growth because we're completely self-funded. We're not backed by some millions of dollars. Unfortunately or fortunately at this point, I say fortunately, I actually feel better about it. But
yes,
initially it was pretty frustrating, but now it's been great. And so, yeah, that shut down a lot of our plans for this whole year. In Texas and Oklahoma and some different states, there has been a few shows recently. But even some of the more performance-based shows, we're seeing that they're not having vendors in. And it's kind of interesting because we were the only vendor there anyway. But I think that the caution is understood. I understand why they're being so cautious, and they're even limiting how many people go into the building at a time if you're not immediately running. So the entire process for everyone is up in the air, and we just try to keep supporting all the shows through donations for winners, and that's been our strategy to stay plugged into that world right now. But yeah, we're hopefully things get figured out, and dog people that do dog sports and show and stuff can get back to doing what they love with their dogs. Hopefully we can do that safely and figure out, how to open up more of that soon.
Yeah. And we've talked a lot about dogs today, but what about the kitties? Do you have anything for the cat folks out there?
Yeah, so like I said, Origins actually is great for cats, and anything it'll do for a dog. Which, if you have a chance, if anyone has any questions or anything, go over to our Facebook or go over to our website and look at some of the before and afters for dogs. You'll be blown away with some of the things that we've been able to fix for people and some of the stories that they have to share. But it will do the same thing for a cat if the cat will eat it. And so it's about 60% of cats are literally fighting the dog off in the house, like fighting them off the dog bowl to eat their food when they use it. And the other 40% will like hunger strike if you touch their food with anything. So the key is finding if the cat will eat it. And we do have a half-pound bag, which for a cat is still going to last like 4 months. You're just using like a half a teaspoon a day. And then we have these really cool little treats, which I don't have a bag right handy. They're called Solo. They're single ingredient pellets. So there's literally nothing else added to them. No binders, no fillers, anything like that. So we have a tuna and a salmon pellet, and they're great for cats. Small enough pieces. They smell good. Again, they're actually human grade, so you could eat one if you wanted. Nate loves snacking on them. It's a little too fishy for me, but he'll sit there and eat them at the show, and I'm like, man, fishy flavored breath there for a bit. But the cats love those. They do love those little pellets. So
awesome. I've been guilty of eating pet treats before, for sure.
You got good treats then. You got good ones.
Well, and is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know?
No, I know that it's different all over the country. That's something that, I keep being reminded of. We're all going through this, but it's not the same everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, anything we can do to help our retailers, we want to do that. If you're, you have interest in our products and the timing's not right or something, or if you're thinking it's better to wait, just message us. And, we're very flexible. We're lucky that we're small. Again, getting back to that, like we're actually a small company, and we can be more flexible for our partners. So, if it's something where you have concerns, I'd rather send some product out to you and give you some, short term, 60 days or whatever. Because if you're not selling my product within 60 days, then something's wrong. Like we did a bad job of explaining what it is. So maybe we can offer that to some people as well. If that makes it more interesting, it's like, we'll just give you 60-day terms. And if you're unhappy at that point, just send us the product back. We'll send you the labels, and don't worry about it.
You're agile, nimble, and that what's there to lose. I think everyone should jump on and check out what's happening at Rogue, and we'll definitely be sharing your information, your website, your email, the form where people can check out all the different products that you have and get the discount. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Dana. Thanks for having us be a part of this. And whenever y'all get back up and running, we're ready to come visit and do your in-person event too. So
yes, yeah, I can't wait to meet you in person in April, hopefully in New York. We'll see how things go. And let's just keep plugging away until then.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.